The formation of the United Kingdom, Part 1. From ancient Britain to the Norman conquest before the United Kingdom existed. Long before the United Kingdom appeared on maps, the islands of Britain were home to countless generations of people whose lives laid the foundation for one of the world's most influential nations. The story of the United Kingdom does not begin with kings or queens, nor with great castles or famous battles. It begins thousands of years ago when small groups of hunter-gatherers crossed a land bridge that once connected Britain to mainland Europe during the last ice age. At that time, rising seas had not yet separated Britain from the continent, allowing people and animals to migrate freely across the landscape. These first settlers lived by hunting wild animals, catching fish, and gathering fruits, nuts, and plants. They followed the changing seasons and slowly learned how to survive in the forests, rivers, and coastal regions of Britain. Over thousands of years, the climate became warmer, forests spread across the land, and communities adapted to new ways of life. Their knowledge of nature helped future generations thrive in an ever-changing environment. Around 4000 BC, farming reached Britain from mainland Europe. This marked one of the greatest turning points in British history. Instead of constantly moving in search of food, many people settled in permanent villages. They cleared forests, grew crops such as wheat and barley, and raised cattle, sheep, and pigs. Farming allowed populations to grow, villages to expand, and society to become more organized. During this period, people also built remarkable stone monuments that continue to amaze visitors today. The most famous of these is Stonehenge, located in southern England. Massive stones, some weighing many tons, were transported over great distances and carefully arranged in circular patterns. Although historians and archaeologists still debate its exact purpose, Stonehenge is believed to have served as a ceremonial, religious, or astronomical site. Its construction demonstrates the engineering skills and cooperation of Britain's prehistoric communities, the Celts and the pre-Roman era. As centuries passed, new groups of people arrived from mainland Europe, bringing different languages, customs, and technologies. Among the most influential were the Celtic peoples, who began settling across Britain around 800 BC. Rather than forming a single kingdom, the Celts lived in numerous independent tribes. Each tribe had its own leaders, warriors, and traditions, yet they shared similar languages and cultural practices. The Celts became highly skilled farmers, craftsmen, and metalworkers. They produced beautiful jewelry, finely crafted weapons, and decorative objects made from iron, bronze, and gold. Their artwork featured intricate patterns and symbols that reflected their spiritual beliefs and appreciation for nature. They also built fortified hill forts on high ground, providing protection from rival tribes and invading enemies. Religion played an important role in Celtic society. Spiritual leaders known as Druids served as priests, judges, teachers, and advisors. The Druids preserved history through oral traditions rather than written records, passing stories and knowledge from one generation to another. Sacred groves, rivers, and natural landmarks held deep religious significance, and many Celtic ceremonies celebrated the changing seasons. Although the Celtic tribes often traded with one another, they also competed for land and influence. Without a central government, Britain remained politically divided. This lack of unity would later make it easier for powerful foreign empires to conquer large parts of the island. The Roman conquest and rule. One of those empires was Rome. By the 1st century BC, the Roman Republic had become one of the strongest military powers in the ancient world. Under the leadership of Julius Caesar, Roman armies expanded across much of Western Europe. Caesar launched expeditions to Britain in 55 BC and 54 BC, hoping to demonstrate Rome's strength and discourage British tribes from supporting Rome's enemies in Gaul. Although these campaigns established contact, they did not result in permanent occupation. Almost a century AD 43, the Roman Emperor Claudius ordered a full-scale invasion of Britain. Thousands of disciplined Roman soldiers crossed the English Channel and gradually defeated many Celtic tribes. Unlike Caesar's earlier expeditions, this invasion led to lasting Roman rule over much of southern Britain. The Romans transformed Britain in remarkable ways. They built an extensive network of roads connecting towns, forts, and military bases. These roads improved trade, communication, and military movement, many forming the foundations of modern transport routes. Roman engineers constructed bridges, aqueducts, bathhouses, temples, theaters, and impressive public buildings that demonstrated the power of Roman civilization. Several important towns were founded during Roman rule, including Londinium, which would later become London, York, Bath, and Chester. Markets flourished as merchants imported wine, olive oil, pottery, glassware, and luxury goods from across the Roman Empire while exporting British metals, grain, wool, and other valuable resources. Roman law introduced more organized systems of government. Local leaders often cooperated with Roman officials, helping maintain order throughout the province. Taxes funded public projects and military defenses, while Roman soldiers protected Britain from both internal unrest and external threats. Despite these advances, Roman rule was not always peaceful. Many Celtic tribes fiercely resisted foreign control. The most famous rebellion occurred around AD 60 under Queen Boudica of the Iceni tribe. After suffering harsh treatment from Roman authorities, Boudica united several tribes and launched a massive uprising. Her warriors destroyed Roman settlements including Londinium before eventually being defeated by the disciplined Roman army. Although the rebellion failed, Boudica became a lasting symbol of courage and resistance. To defend northern Britain from powerful tribes beyond Roman control, Emperor Hadrian ordered the construction of Hadrian's Wall around AD 122. Stretching approximately 73 miles across northern England, the wall marked the northern frontier of Roman Britain. Forts, watchtowers, and garrisons along the wall helped monitor movement and defend against raids. Today, Hadrian's Wall remains one of Britain's most remarkable ancient monuments. Over time, Christianity gradually spread throughout Roman Britain. Early Christian communities established churches and places of worship despite periods of persecution elsewhere in the empire. By the 4th century, Christianity had become increasingly accepted and would later play a central role in British history. However, the Roman Empire eventually faced growing challenges. Political instability, economic difficulties, and repeated invasions strained imperial resources. Barbarian attacks across Europe forced Rome to redirect troops closer to the heart of the empire. Around AD 410, Roman authorities officially withdrew their legions from Britain, leaving local communities to defend themselves. The Anglo-Saxon period. The departure of Rome marked another major turning point. Without Roman military protection, Britain became vulnerable to attacks from neighboring peoples. Many Roman towns declined, trade weakened, and centralized government largely disappeared. Local leaders struggled to maintain order as new threats emerged. Beginning in the 5th century, groups known as the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes crossed the North Sea from present-day Germany, Denmark, and the Netherlands. Some initially came as mercenaries hired to defend Britain, but many soon established permanent settlements of their own. Over time, they expanded their control across much of eastern and southern Britain. The Anglo-Saxons brought their own languages, customs, and beliefs. They founded numerous small kingdoms that gradually replaced many of the old Roman and Celtic political structures. Their language evolved into Old English, forming the basis of the English language spoken today. Instead of one united country, Anglo-Saxon England became divided into several powerful kingdoms known as the Heptarchy. 1. Northumbria. 2. Mercia. 3. East Anglia. 4. Essex. 5. Kent. 6. Sussex. 7. Wessex. These kingdoms frequently fought each other for territory and influence, while alliances constantly shifted. Although conflict was common, Anglo-Saxon society achieved remarkable cultural progress. Farming expanded, villages multiplied, and trade revived. Skilled craftsmen produced intricate metalwork, jewelry, weapons, and illuminated manuscripts. Monasteries became centers of education, preserving knowledge during a time often called the Early Middle Ages. Christianity returned to Anglo-Saxon England through missionaries. In AD 597, Pope Gregory the Great sent Augustine to convert the Kingdom of Kent. King Aethelbert accepted Christianity, and Augustine became the first Archbishop of Canterbury. From this beginning, Christianity gradually spread throughout the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, uniting many communities through shared religious beliefs. As literacy increased, monks carefully copied religious texts and historical records by hand. Works such as the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle preserved valuable information about early English history, allowing historians to reconstruct events that might otherwise have been forgotten. The Viking invasions and Alfred the Great. Despite these achievements, another formidable threat appeared from across the sea. In the late 8th century, fierce Scandinavian warriors known as the Vikings began raiding Britain's monasteries and coastal settlements. Their attack on the monastery of Lindisfarne in AD 793 shocked the Christian world and marked the beginning of the Viking Age in Britain. Over the following decades, Viking raids grew into large-scale invasions. Unlike earlier raiders who quickly returned home, many Vikings settled permanently. They established communities, farmed the land, traded with local populations, and founded important towns such as York, which became one of the most significant Viking cities in England. Large areas of eastern and northern England eventually came under Viking control in a region known as the Danelaw Waeshu, where Danish customs and laws strongly influenced daily life. This created a divided England, with Anglo-Saxon kingdoms in the south and Viking-controlled territories elsewhere. One leader emerged as the defender of Anglo-Saxon England, Alfred the Great, King of Wessex. Through determined leadership, military reforms, and carefully planned defenses, Alfred successfully resisted Viking expansion. He built fortified towns called burhs, strengthened his army, and even developed a small navy to protect England's coastlines. Alfred also promoted education and encouraged the translation of important books into Old English. His efforts strengthened both the Kingdom of Wessex and the cultural identity of the English people. Later generations remembered him as one of England's greatest kings. Following Alfred's reign, his descendants gradually reconquered Viking-held territories. By the 10th century, King Athelstan succeeded in bringing much of England under one ruler. Historians therefore consider Athelstan the first true king of a united England. However, England's polity remained fragile. In the early 11th century, Danish king Cnut conquered England and ruled a vast North Sea empire that included Denmark, Norway, and England. After Canut's death, power struggles once again weakened the kingdom. The Norman Conquest of 1066. These disputes eventually led to one of the most famous events in British history, the Norman Conquest of 1066. When King Edward the Confessor died without a direct heir, several powerful men claimed the English throne. Harold Godwinson was crowned king, but William, Duke of Normandy, argued that Edward had previously promised him the crown. Determined to secure his claim, William gathered an invasion force and crossed the English Channel. On the 14th of October 1066, the two armies met at the Battle of Hastings. After a fierce day-long battle, King Harold was killed, and William emerged victorious. He was crowned King of England on Christmas Day 1066. The Norman Conquest dramatically transformed England. Norman nobles replaced much of the Anglo-Saxon aristocracy. Castles were built across the country. A new ruling elite introduced Norman French customs. The English legal and administrative systems underwent profound change. This conquest strengthened the monarchy and laid important foundations for the future development of England. Yet despite these changes, England was still only one kingdom. Scotland remained independent to the north, Wales consisted of several native kingdoms, and Ireland followed its own political path. The idea of a single United Kingdom was still centuries away. The formation of the United Kingdom, Part 2, England, Wales, Scotland, and the Road to Union, 1066 to 1707. The Norman Conquest of 1066 marked the beginning of a new era in British history. William the Conqueror's victory at the Battle of Hastings transformed England's government, society, language, and culture. Yet despite these sweeping changes, there was still no United Kingdom. The British Isles remained divided into separate lands with different rulers, traditions, and ambitions. England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland each followed their own political paths, often cooperating but more frequently competing through diplomacy and warfare. After securing the English throne, William I moved quickly to strengthen his authority. He ordered the construction of hundreds of castles across England, including the famous Tower of London. These stone fortresses served not only as military strongholds, but also as powerful symbols of Norman rule. Their towering walls reminded the local population that a new dynasty now controlled the kingdom. William also commissioned one of medieval Europe's greatest administrative records, the Domesday Book, completed in 1086. Royal officials travelled throughout England, recording land ownership, villages, livestock, crops, and taxable wealth. The survey gave the king a detailed understanding of his kingdom's resources and allowed the crown to collect taxes more efficiently than almost any other European ruler. The Norman kings reorganized England's legal system and strengthened the monarchy. Norman French became the language of the royal court, while Latin remained the language of the church and official documents. Old English continued to be spoken by ordinary people. Over time, these languages blended together, gradually creating Middle English. Thousands of French words entered everyday speech, shaping the English language used throughout the world today. The expansion into Wales. As England grew stronger, its rulers looked west toward Wales. Unlike England, Wales was not a single kingdom. Instead, it consisted of several independent principalities ruled by Welsh princes. These leaders often fought among themselves while also resisting English expansion. Soon after the Norman conquest, powerful Norman lords established settlements along the Welsh border. These men, known as the Marcher Lords, enjoyed exceptional authority and built impressive castles to secure newly conquered territories. Massive fortresses such as Chepstow and Pembroke became centres of Norman influence in Wales. For generations, Welsh rulers resisted English control. One of the most respected leaders was Llywelyn ap Gruffudd, often remembered as the last native prince of Wales. During the 13th century, he united much of Wales under his leadership and defended Welsh independence against the English crown. His greatest opponent was King Edward I of England. Determined to bring Wales permanently under English rule, Edward launched a series of military campaigns during the 1270s and 1280s. After fierce fighting, Welsh resistance collapsed. Llywelyn was killed in 1282, and the following year Wales came under English control. Edward I then began constructing one of history's greatest castle-building programs. Magnificent fortresses at Caernarfon, Conwy, Harlech and Beaumaris were designed not only for defence but also to demonstrate the overwhelming power of the English monarchy. Many of these castles still stand today as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. In 1301, Edward gave his son the title Prince of Wales, a tradition that continues to this day for the heir to the British throne. Although Wales retained its own language and cultural identity, political authority increasingly rested with the English crown. The struggle for Scottish independence, while England expanded into Wales, another powerful kingdom remained firmly independent to the north, Scotland. Scotland developed its own monarchy, legal traditions and national identity. Although English kings occasionally claimed authority over Scotland, Scottish rulers strongly defended their independence. A major crisis erupted in 1286 when King Alexander III of Scotland died without a surviving adult heir. His granddaughter, Margaret, the Maid of Norway, was expected to inherit the throne, but she died before reaching Scotland. Several Scottish nobles claimed the crown, creating a dangerous succession dispute. England's King Edward I offered to act as arbitrator but demanded recognition as Scotland's overlord. Although John Balliol was eventually chosen as king, Edward repeatedly interfered in Scottish affairs. His actions angered many Scots and sparked open rebellion. One of the earliest heroes of Scottish resistance was William Wallace. In 1297, Wallace led Scottish forces to an astonishing victory over a much larger English army at the Battle of Stirling Bridge. His success inspired people throughout Scotland and demonstrated that English armies could be defeated. Wallace was eventually captured and executed in London in 1305, but Scottish resistance continued. Leadership passed to Robert the Bruce, one of Scotland's most determined kings. In 1314, Robert achieved a decisive victory at the Battle of Bannockburn. Despite being outnumbered, Scottish forces defeated Edward II's army, securing Scotland's independence for generations. Bannockburn became one of the defining moments in Scottish national history and remains a powerful symbol of courage and determination. The struggle officially ended in 1328 with the Treaty of Edinburgh-Northampton, in which England recognised Scotland as an independent kingdom. Although peace remained fragile, Scotland preserved its sovereignty while England continued developing separately. Key transformations in England. Throughout the following centuries, relations between England and Scotland shifted constantly. Periods of trade and diplomacy alternated with border conflicts and political rivalry. Royal marriages occasionally strengthened relations, yet neither kingdom surrendered its independence. During the late Middle Ages, England itself underwent significant political changes. Kings increasingly faced demands from nobles, church leaders, and ordinary subjects for fair government. One milestone came in 1215 when King John was forced by rebellious barons to accept the Magna Carta. Although originally intended to resolve a political crisis, the document introduced revolutionary ideas. Even the king should obey the law, and certain rights deserved legal protection. Over time, Magna Carta became one of the most influential constitutional documents in world history. England later experienced the 100 Years' War against France, beginning in 1337. Although much of the fighting occurred across the English Channel, the conflict shaped England's military traditions and national identity. Legendary victories such as Crécy and Agincourt elevated English prestige, while later defeats eventually ended England's claims to most French territories. The 15th century brought civil war to England itself. Rival branches of the royal family, the House of Lancaster and the House of York, fought for control of the throne in a series of conflicts known as the Wars of the Roses. Decades of violence weakened the English nobility until Henry Tudor defeated Richard III at the Battle of Bosworth Field in 1485. Henry became King Henry VII, founding the Tudor dynasty. His victory restored stability after years of conflict and established one of England's most famous royal families. The Tudors and religious shifts his son Henry VIII would transform not only England but the entire future of the British Isles. Henry VIII originally sought only to secure the succession by obtaining an annulment of his marriage. When the Pope refused, Henry took a dramatic step that permanently altered English history. In the 1530s, he separated the Church of England from the authority of the Roman Catholic Church and declared himself supreme head of the Church of England. This English Reformation reshaped religion, politics, and society. Monasteries were dissolved, church lands transferred to the crown, and religious authority increasingly centered on the English monarch. These changes would later influence relations with both Scotland and Ireland for centuries. Henry also strengthened England's control over Wales. The Laws in Wales Acts of 1535 and 1542 formally incorporated Wales into the Kingdom of England. Welsh counties were reorganised under English law, Welsh representatives entered the English Parliament, and England and Wales became governed as one political entity. Although Wales retained its language and cultural traditions, it was no longer a separate kingdom. This marked one of the earliest major steps toward the future United Kingdom. Meanwhile, Scotland continued as an independent nation under its own monarchy. During the 16th century, Scotland also experienced the Protestant Reformation, although its religious developments differed from those in England. Political tensions remained, especially during the reign of Mary, Queen of Scots. Mary's life became one of the most dramatic stories in European history. After years of political struggles, she was forced to abdicate in favor of her infant son, James VI. Seeking protection, Mary fled to England, where her cousin Queen Elizabeth I viewed her as a political threat. Mary spent nearly 19 years under house arrest before being executed in 1587. Although tragic, Mary's story unexpectedly shaped the future of Britain. The Union of the Crowns, 1603. When Queen Elizabeth I died childless in 1603, the Tudor dynasty came to an end. The closest legitimate heir was James VI of Scotland, the son of Mary, Queen of Scots. James travelled south to London and was crowned King James I of England while remaining James VI of Scotland. This event became known as the Union of the Crowns. For the first time in history, England and Scotland shared the same monarch. However, they did not become one country. Each kingdom retained its own parliament, legal system, church, and institutions. James ruled two independent kingdoms linked only by a single king. Nevertheless, James strongly believed the kingdoms should cooperate more closely. He even described himself as King of Great Britain, although Parliament never officially accepted the title. His vision of a united Ireland would influence future generations. James's reign also witnessed one of England's most famous conspiracies, the Gunpowder Plot of 1605. A group of Catholic conspirators led by Robert Catesby attempted to blow up Parliament during its ceremonial opening, hoping to overthrow the Protestant government. The plot failed after Guy Fawkes was discovered guarding barrels of gunpowder beneath the House of Lords. Every year on the 5th of November, Britain still commemorates the event with fireworks and bonfires, remembering the failure of the Gunpowder Plot. Civil War and constitutional evolution. After James came his son, Charles I. Unlike his father, Charles repeatedly clashed with Parliament over taxation, religion, and royal authority. His belief in the divine right of kings increasingly angered members of Parliament. Tensions eventually exploded into the English Civil War in 1642. Supporters of King Charles, known as Royalists, fought against parliamentarians led by Oliver Cromwell. The conflict spread across England, Scotland, and Ireland, becoming one of the most important constitutional struggles in British history. After years of brutal fighting, Parliament emerged victorious. In 1649, Charles I was tried for treason against his own people and publicly executed, the first English monarch ever to suffer such a fate. England briefly became a republic known as the Commonwealth under Oliver Cromwell. Although the monarchy was restored in 1660 with Charles II, the balance of power had changed forever. Parliament had demonstrated that even kings could be held accountable. The constitutional relationship between monarchy and Parliament continued evolving after the Glorious Revolution of 1688. King James II was replaced by William III and Mary II, who accepted limits on royal authority through the Bill of Rights of 1689. This document strengthened Parliament's position and laid important foundations for Britain's constitutional monarchy. The Acts of Union, 1707. By the beginning of the 18th century, England and Scotland remained separate kingdoms sharing one monarch. However, economic interests, concerns over national security and political stability encouraged many leaders to seek a closer union. Years of negotiations finally produced a historic agreement. In 1707, the English and Scottish parliaments each approved the Acts of Union. These laws united the Kingdom of England, which already included Wales, with the Kingdom of Scotland to create an entirely new sovereign state, the Kingdom of Great Britain. On the 1st of May 1707, the Union officially came into effect. The separate English and Scottish parliaments were replaced by a single parliament at Westminster in London. England and Scotland now shared one legislature, one monarch, and one kingdom. However, Scotland retained several important institutions, including its own legal system, education system, and Presbyterian church. These distinctive features remain part of Scotland today. The creation of the Kingdom of Great Britain was one of the greatest turning points in British history. Yet the modern United Kingdom had still not fully taken shape. Ireland remained a separate kingdom under the same monarch, and events there would soon transform the political map of the British Isles once again. The Formation of the United Kingdom, Part 3, From Great Britain to the United Kingdom, 1707 to 1922. The creation of the Kingdom of Great Britain in 1707 marked one of the most significant turning points in the history of the British Isles. For the first time, England, Wales, and Scotland were united under a single parliament and a single government. Yet the political map of the islands was still incomplete. Across the Irish Sea lay the Kingdom of Ireland, which, although ruled by the same monarch, remained a separate kingdom with its own parliament in Dublin. The next century would witness events that transformed Great Britain into the United Kingdom and eventually shaped the modern nation that exists today. Early relations between Britain and Ireland. Although Ireland had its own parliament, English influence had steadily increased for centuries. Beginning with the Norman invasion of Ireland in 1169, English kings gradually expanded their authority over the island. During the Tudor period, especially under Henry VIII and Elizabeth I, English control became stronger. Protestant settlers from England and Scotland were encouraged to move into parts of Ireland, particularly the northern province of Ulster. These settlements permanently changed Ireland's religious and political landscape. Many of the new settlers were Protestants, while most of the native Irish population remained Roman Catholic. Religious differences soon became closely connected with political power, land ownership, and loyalty to the crown. These divisions would influence Irish history for generations. During the 17th century, Ireland experienced wars, rebellions, and confiscations of land. Oliver Cromwell's military campaign in Ireland during the 1650s remains one of the most controversial chapters in British and Irish history. Many Irish landowners lost their estates, and English rule became even more firmly established. By the 18th century, Ireland remained under British influence but was governed differently from Great Britain. Although the Irish Parliament existed, its authority was limited, and many important decisions were controlled from London. Most Catholics faced legal restrictions under the penal laws, preventing them from fully participating in political life. Global expansion and overseas challenges. Meanwhile, Great Britain itself was changing rapidly. The 18th century became an age of scientific discovery, overseas trade, and economic growth. British merchants expanded commercial networks across Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Americas. Ports such as London, Liverpool, Bristol, and Glasgow grew into major centres of international commerce. Britain also became involved in a series of European wars. Victories during conflicts such as the 7 Years' War greatly expanded British influence overseas. By the late 18th century, Britain controlled territories in North America, the Caribbean, India, and many other parts of the world. These overseas possessions formed the early foundations of what would later become the British Empire. However, Britain also faced serious challenges. In 1776, 13 British colonies in North America declared their independence, leading to the American Revolutionary War. After years of fighting, Britain recognized the independence of the United States in 1783. Although losing the American colonies was a major setback, Britain soon redirected its attention toward Asia, Africa, and the Pacific. Trade with India expanded dramatically through the East India Company, while exploration opened new opportunities across the globe. Revolutionary Ideas and the Acts of Union, 1800. At the same time, revolutionary ideas were spreading across Europe. The French Revolution of 1789 overthrew the French monarchy and inspired calls for political reform throughout the continent. British leaders worried that revolutionary movements might spread to Ireland, where many people were already dissatisfied with British rule. These fears intensified in 1798 when Irish Republicans, inspired by events in France and America, launched the Irish Rebellion. Led by the Society of United Irishmen, the uprising aimed to establish an independent Irish republic free from British control. Although the rebellion was eventually defeated, it convinced many British politicians that maintaining separate parliaments in London and Dublin created political instability. Prime Minister William Pitt the Younger believed a complete political union would strengthen security and prevent future rebellions. After lengthy negotiations and considerable controversy, both the British and Irish parliaments passed the Act of Union 1800. On the 1st of January 1801, these laws officially united the Kingdom of Great Britain and the Kingdom of Ireland into a single sovereign state known as the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. For the first time, the words United Kingdom became part of the country's official name. The Irish Parliament in Dublin was abolished, and Irish representatives were sent to the Parliament at Westminster in London. The Union flag, often called the Union Jack, was also redesigned by adding the red diagonal cross of St. Patrick to represent Ireland alongside the crosses of St. George for England and St. Andrew for Scotland. Although the Union created one kingdom, it did not eliminate political disagreements. Many Irish Catholics hoped for greater equality and representation. Campaigns for Catholic emancipation eventually succeeded in 1829, allowing Catholics to sit in Parliament after centuries of legal restrictions. The Industrial Revolution and imperial growth. During the 19th century, another revolution transformed Britain, not through politics but through technology. The Industrial Revolution began in Great Britain before spreading across the world. New inventions, improved machinery, and innovative manufacturing methods changed nearly every aspect of daily life. Steam engines developed by James Watt powered factories, mines, and transportation systems. Textile production expanded rapidly, making Britain the world's leading industrial nation. Ironworks and coal mines supplied the materials needed for railways, ships, bridges, and machinery. Cities grew at an astonishing rate. Manchester became famous for textile manufacturing, Birmingham for metal industries, Sheffield for steel production, and Glasgow for shipbuilding and engineering. The railway age revolutionized travel. Passengers who once required days to complete a journey could now travel across Britain in just a few hours. Railways connected industrial towns, ports, and major cities, encouraging trade and economic growth. Steamships shortened international voyages, while telegraph cables improved communication across vast distances. Britain became the center of an expanding global trading network. Industrial success strengthened the British Empire, which grew into the largest empire in history. During the 19th century, British influence stretched across every inhabited continent. India became known as the jewel in the crown of the empire. Colonies and territories also expanded throughout Africa, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Southeast Asia, and numerous islands around the world. At its greatest extent, the British Empire governed nearly 1/4 of the world's land surface and population. This extraordinary reach inspired the famous saying that the sun never sets on the British Empire. The monarchy also entered a new golden age under Queen Victoria. Ascending the throne in 1837, Victoria ruled for 63 years, giving her name to the Victorian era. Her reign witnessed enormous industrial expansion, scientific innovation, constitutional reform, and imperial growth. Britain's political system continued evolving during this period. Parliament gradually became more representative as voting rights expanded through a series of reform acts. Although democracy developed slowly, increasing numbers of ordinary citizens gained the right to participate in elections. Education also improved significantly as public schools expanded, literacy increased, and scientific discoveries transformed daily life. The Irish crisis and the famine. Despite these achievements, Ireland remained politically unsettled. Many Irish nationalists believed Ireland should regain its own parliament. Leaders such as Daniel O'Connell peacefully campaigned for repeal of the Union, while later organisations demanded home rule, limited self-government within the United Kingdom. The greatest tragedy of 19th century Ireland occurred between 1845 and 1852. A devastating potato blight destroyed the country's main food crop, causing the Great Irish Famine. More than 1 million people died from starvation and disease, while another million emigrated to Britain, North America, Australia, and elsewhere. The famine permanently changed Irish society. The population declined dramatically, and resentment toward British policies increased. For many Irish people, the famine became a symbol of government failure during one of history's worst humanitarian disasters. By the late 19th century, Irish nationalism had become increasingly organised. Several attempts were made to pass Home Rule legislation, but fierce political disagreements delayed reform. Many Protestants in Ulster opposed Irish self-government because they wished to remain closely connected to Britain. These competing visions created deep political divisions within Ireland. World War I, the Easter Rising, and independence, the 20th century soon brought even greater challenges. In 1914, Europe descended into the First World War. Britain declared war on Germany after the German invasion of Belgium, and millions of soldiers from England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland served together in the British armed forces. The war demanded enormous sacrifices. Entire communities lost fathers, sons, brothers, and friends on battlefields across France, Belgium, Gallipoli, the Middle East, and elsewhere. While Britain fought overseas, political tensions in Ireland continued to grow. In April 1916, Irish Republicans launched the Easter Rising in Dublin, seeking complete independence from British rule. Although British forces suppressed the rebellion within a week, the execution of many rebel leaders generated widespread sympathy for the independence movement. Public opinion shifted rapidly over the following years. In the 1918 general election, the Irish nationalist party Sinn Féin won a large majority of Irish seats. Instead of taking their places in Westminster, Sinn Féin members established their own parliament, known as Dáil Éireann, and declared Ireland independent. This led to the Irish War of Independence between Irish Republican forces and British authorities from 1919 to 1921. Partition and the modern United Kingdom, 1922. The conflict ended with negotiations that produced the Anglo-Irish Treaty of 1921. The treaty fundamentally changed the United Kingdom. On the 6th of December 1922, most of Ireland left the United Kingdom and became the Irish Free State, a self-governing dominion within the British Commonwealth. However, 6 counties in the northeast, Antrim, Armagh, Down, Fermanagh, Londonderry and Tyrone, chose to remain within the United Kingdom. These 6 counties formed Northern Ireland. As a result, the country's official name changed from the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland to the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the official name it continues to use today. The partition of Ireland represented one of the most significant constitutional changes in British history. It completed the transformation from medieval kingdoms into the modern United Kingdom, while also creating political questions that would continue throughout the 20th century. By 1922, the United Kingdom consisted of 4 nations: England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. Each nation preserved its own unique history, traditions, culture, and identity, while remaining part of one sovereign state under a shared parliament and monarchy. The long journey that began with prehistoric settlers had finally produced the modern United Kingdom, yet the story was far from over. The 20th century would bring world wars, the decline of the British Empire, the growth of the Commonwealth, devolution, and a changing role for the United Kingdom on the global stage. The formation of the United Kingdom, Part 4, Final, the modern United Kingdom, from 1922 to the present day. The creation of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland in 1922 marked the end of one chapter in British history and the beginning of another. After centuries of wars, political unions, and constitutional change, the modern United Kingdom had finally taken shape. It now consisted of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, united under one sovereign, one parliament at Westminster, and one government, while each nation retained its own distinct identity, traditions, and culture. However, the years ahead would test the strength of the United Kingdom like never before. Rebuilding after partition, the departure of most of Ireland from the United Kingdom created significant political and economic challenges. Northern Ireland remained part of the UK with its own parliament at Stormont in Belfast, while relations between the new Irish Free State and the United Kingdom gradually developed through diplomacy and trade. Within the United Kingdom, politicians focused on rebuilding the economy after the First World War. Many industries that had driven Britain's prosperity during the Industrial Revolution, coal mining, shipbuilding, steel production and textiles, faced increasing competition from other countries. Unemployment rose in several industrial regions, particularly in northern England, Scotland, and Wales. Despite these difficulties, Britain remained one of the world's leading powers. London continued to serve as an international financial centre, and the British Empire still covered vast territories across the globe. The Second World War. In September 1939, Europe once again descended into war when Nazi Germany invaded Poland. Britain and France declared war on Germany, beginning the Second World War. Prime Minister Winston Churchill, who took office in 1940, became one of Britain's greatest wartime leaders. His speeches inspired millions of people to remain determined during the darkest days of the conflict. One of the most critical moments came during the Battle of Britain in 1940. German aircraft launched massive bombing raids in an attempt to gain control of British skies before a possible invasion. The Royal Air Force, RAF, supported by pilots from across the Commonwealth and Allied nations, successfully defended Britain. Their victory prevented a German invasion and marked Hitler's first major military defeat. Churchill later praised the RAF pilots with his famous words, "Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few." The United Kingdom also endured the Blitz, a prolonged bombing campaign targeting London, Coventry, Liverpool, Glasgow, Belfast, and many other cities. Homes, factories, schools, churches, and historic buildings were destroyed, yet civilian morale remained remarkably strong. Throughout the war, people from England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland worked together in factories, farms, hospitals, shipyards, and military services. Women played an increasingly important role by serving in the armed forces, producing weapons, driving ambulances, and maintaining essential industries. The war finally ended in Europe on the 8th of May 1945, celebrated as Victory in Europe, VE Day. Although Britain emerged victorious, the country had suffered enormous human and economic losses. The end of the British Empire. After the Second World War, Britain faced a changing world. Many colonies sought independence, believing they should govern themselves. Economic pressures also made maintaining a vast empire increasingly difficult. India, often called the Jewel in the Crown, gained independence in 1947, followed by Pakistan the same year. During the following decades, countries throughout Asia, Africa, the Caribbean, and the Pacific also became independent. Rather than attempting to preserve direct imperial control, Britain encouraged cooperation through a voluntary association known as the Commonwealth of Nations. Today, the Commonwealth includes dozens of independent countries that cooperate in areas such as education, trade, democracy, environmental protection, and cultural exchange. Many members still recognize the historical ties that connect them to Britain, although each nation is fully independent. The peaceful transition from empire to Commonwealth became one of the most remarkable political transformations of the 20th century. Building a modern welfare state. The years after 1945 also transformed life within the United Kingdom. The government introduced major social reforms designed to improve healthcare, education, housing, and social security. One of the most significant achievements came in 1948 with the creation of the National Health Service, NHS. Founded on the principle that healthcare should be available to everyone regardless of income, the NHS became one of Britain's most valued public institutions. New schools, universities, roads, housing projects, and public services helped rebuild the country after wartime destruction. Scientific innovation accelerated rapidly. British researchers contributed to advances in medicine, engineering, aviation, computing, and communications, strengthening Britain's reputation as a centre of research and innovation. A changing society. During the second half of the 20th century, the United Kingdom became increasingly diverse. People from Commonwealth countries, including India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, the Caribbean, and Africa, migrated to Britain to help rebuild the economy and fill labour shortages. These communities introduced new languages, religions, cuisines, music, literature, and traditions, making modern Britain one of the world's most multicultural societies. Cities such as London, Birmingham, Manchester, Leicester, and Glasgow became vibrant cultural centres, where people from many different backgrounds lived and worked together. British culture also gained enormous international influence through literature, music, television, cinema, fashion, and sport. Writers such as J.R.R. Tolkien, George Orwell, and Agatha Christie became globally celebrated. Musical groups including the Beatles transformed popular music, while the Premier League developed into one of the world's most watched football competitions. The Troubles in Northern Ireland. Despite progress elsewhere, Northern Ireland experienced decades of conflict. Beginning in the late 1960s, political and sectarian violence known as the Troubles erupted between Unionists, who wished Northern Ireland to remain part of the United Kingdom, and nationalists, many of whom supported Irish reunification. The conflict involved paramilitary organizations, security forces, and civilians. Thousands of people lost their lives, and many more were injured or displaced. After years of negotiations involving the British and Irish governments and Northern Irish political leaders, a major breakthrough occurred. On the 10th of April 1998, the Good Friday Agreement established a new framework for peace and power sharing. Although political disagreements have continued, the agreement dramatically reduced violence and remains one of the most important peace settlements in modern European history. Devolution, sharing power. For centuries, political authority had been concentrated in Westminster. During the late 20th century, many people in Scotland and Wales argued that decisions affecting their nations should increasingly be made closer to home. Following referendums in 1997, the UK introduced devolution. The Scottish Parliament opened in Edinburgh in 1999, gaining responsibility for many domestic matters including education, health, transport and justice. The Senedd, Welsh Parliament, also gained authority over numerous areas affecting Wales. Northern Ireland's devolved assembly was restored under the Good Friday Agreement, allowing locally elected representatives to govern many regional issues through power-sharing arrangements. England remains governed directly by the UK Parliament in Westminster, although some English cities and regions now have elected mayors with additional responsibilities. Devolution allowed the United Kingdom to remain one sovereign state, while recognising the distinct identities and priorities of its four nations. The monarchy in modern times. The British monarchy continued evolving alongside democratic government. Queen Elizabeth II, who became Queen in 1952, served for more than 70 years, making her Britain's longest reigning monarch. Throughout her reign, she witnessed extraordinary changes, from post-war reconstruction and the end of empire to the digital revolution and the 21st century. Her dedication, stability and sense of duty earned widespread respect both within the United Kingdom and around the world. Following her death in 2022, her eldest son became King Charles III, continuing the constitutional monarchy that has developed over many centuries. Today, the monarch serves as head of state, while elected governments exercise political power through Parliament. Brexit, one of the most significant political events of the 21st century, occurred in 2016. In a nationwide referendum, voters were asked whether the United Kingdom should remain a member of the European Union (EU) or leave. After a closely contested campaign, a majority voted to leave. Following several years of negotiations, the United Kingdom officially left the European Union on the 31st of January 2020. Brexit reshaped Britain's political and economic relationships with Europe, while generating extensive debate about trade, immigration, sovereignty, and the future of the Union itself. Its long-term effects continue to influence British politics. The United Kingdom today. Today, the United Kingdom is a constitutional monarchy and a parliamentary democracy. It consists of four nations: England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. Together, they share one sovereign, one central parliament, one armed forces, and one international identity, while each nation preserves its own culture, traditions, education systems, and legal institutions. London remains the capital of the United Kingdom and one of the world's leading financial, political, and cultural centres. The UK continues to play an important role in international affairs as a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, a leading member of NATO, a member of the G7, a founding member of the Commonwealth of Nations. British universities, scientific research, literature, music, technology, finance, and creative industries continue to influence people across the globe. Conclusion: the formation of the United Kingdom was not the result of a single battle, one king, or one political decision. It was the outcome of thousands of years of history. From prehistoric settlers crossing ancient land bridges to the Celtic tribes, from Roman Britain to the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, from Viking invasions to the Norman conquest, from the Union of England and Wales to the Union of the Crowns, from the Acts of Union in 1707 to the creation of the United Kingdom in 1801, and finally to the establishment of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland in 1922. Each generation contributed to building the nation that exists today. The United Kingdom has experienced conquest, rebellion, civil war, industrial revolution, imperial expansion, world wars, political reform, and social transformation. Through every challenge, it has continued to evolve while preserving many of the institutions that connect its past to its present. Understanding how the United Kingdom was formed is more than studying dates and treaties. It is the story of four nations whose histories became intertwined over centuries, creating one of the most influential countries in modern history. As the United Kingdom moves further into the 21st century, it continues to balance tradition with change, maintaining its historic heritage while adapting to new political, economic, and global challenges. The story of the United Kingdom is still being written, and its next chapter belongs to the generations of today and tomorrow.